He tried to leave the Mafia. They made him disappear. Michael Francese was a rising star in the Colombo crime family. He was living the high life, enjoying all of the money and power that came with being a member of one of America's most feared crime families. But as he climbed the ranks of the Mafia, Michael began to have second thoughts about his chosen profession. He started to realize that the only way out for him was 6 feet under. And when he tried to leave the Mafia, they made him disappear. Join us today as we look at what happened to Michael Francese, and how he managed to escape the clutches of the Mafia and live to tell the tale. The early years. Michael Francese was born in 1952 in the Bronx, New York. His father was a low-level Mafia soldier in the Colombo crime family, and his uncle was the underboss of the family. So it's no surprise that Michael grew up wanting to be a mobster. As a kid, he idolized his father and uncle and dreamed of one day being just like them. But as he got older, he started to see the dark side of the Mafia. He saw how the Mafia lifestyle destroyed families and ruined lives. But by this time, it was too late. He was already in too deep. Michael joined the Mafia at age 16 and quickly rose through the ranks. By age 24, he was a capo in the crime family. This is an important position in the Mafia hierarchy, basically being a crew boss. He had complete control over his crew and was responsible for racketeering, extortion, and loan sharking. In fact, Michael was so good at his job that he became one of the most successful mobsters in the Colombo crime family. He was making millions of dollars a year and living the high life in a mansion in Long Island with his wife and kids. But despite all of his success, Michael was not happy. He was constantly looking over his shoulder, afraid of being whacked or ratted out. He knew that there was only one way out of the Mafia: the decision to leave. After much soul-searching, Michael decided that he wanted to leave the Mafia and start a new life. He was tired of the violence and the danger, and he wanted to provide a better life for his family. So he started planning his escape. Michael knew that if the Mafia found out he was leaving, he would be dead. So he had to be careful. He started by setting up a fake identity for himself. He created a new social security card and driver's license, and even changed his appearance. He grew a mustache and started wearing glasses to make himself look less recognizable. Then he started making plans to move his family to a new city. He wanted to get away from New York and start fresh somewhere new. But before he could make any of his plans come to fruition, he was arrested. Michael had been set up by his own friends in the Mafia. They wanted to get rid of him, and they knew that the police would do the dirty work for them. When Michael was arrested, he was charged with racketeering and extortion. The evidence against him was overwhelming, and he knew that he was in trouble. But he was still determined to leave the Mafia, so he made a deal with the police. He agreed to testify against his friends and family in the Mafia, if they gave him immunity from prosecution. It was a risky move, but it was one that Michael felt he had to make: the witness protection program. When Michael testified against his friends and family in the Mafia, he was placed in the witness protection program. He was given a new identity and a new life, and he started over from scratch. But it wasn't easy. He had to start over in a new city without any of the money or power that he once had. But Michael was determined to make a new life for himself. He got a job working for a construction company and eventually started his own business. He also married a woman named Debbie, and they had 2 kids. But Michael's old life soon caught up with him. His former friends in the Mafia started to find him, and they wanted him to come back. They threatened him and his family and tried to bribe him, but Michael was not interested in returning to the Mafia. He was happy with his new life, and he wasn't going to throw it away. The Mafia's retaliation. When Michael refused to return to the Mafia, they decided to punish him. They killed his brother and sent a message to Michael that he could not ignore. Michael was furious, and he wanted revenge, but he knew that the Mafia was too powerful, couldn't take them on alone. So he went back to the police and agreed to testify against the Mafia in federal court. In 1986, Michael testified against his former friends and family in the Mafia. He told the police everything he knew about the Mafia, including their illegal activities and their hierarchy. This was a huge blow to the Mafia. They had never seen one of their own turn rat before. But Michael was not done. He continued to testify against the Mafia for years, and he helped to put away hundreds of mobsters. In 1997, Michael's life was finally turned right side up when he was given the key to the city by the mayor of New York City. He was officially an upstanding citizen now. But the Mafia never forgot what he had done. They had spent years trying to punish him, and they weren't going to stop now. The last threat. In 2003, Michael was driving home from a meeting when he was stopped by the police. He was pulled over for imitating a police car, and when the police searched his car, they found a gun and some ammunition. Michael was arrested and charged with possession of a weapon, which could have landed him in prison for years. But Michael was not worried. He knew that he had done nothing wrong, and he was confident that he would be able to prove it in court. But as it turned out, Michael was wrong. He was convicted of possession of a weapon and sentenced to 4 years in prison. When Michael was released from prison, he went back to his old life. He got back into the construction business and started making money again. But the Mafia still had one last threat for him. In 2015, Michael was driving home from a business meeting when he was attacked by 2 gunmen. They opened fire on his car and hit him several times. But miraculously, Michael survived the attack. He was taken to the hospital where he was treated for his wounds. To this day, no one knows who ordered the hit on Michael, but he believes that it was the Mafia. They were trying to send him a message that he should have stayed dead. Today, Michael Franzese is a changed man. He is no longer the violent mobster that he once was. He is a businessman and an author who speaks out against the Mafia. He has written several books about his experiences in the Mafia, and he uses his platform to help others escape the clutches of the Mafia. Michael's story is an amazing one. He's a true survivor who was able to escape the clutches of the Mafia and live to tell the tale. He is an inspiration to all of us who are stuck in bad situations. Michael shows us that we can always escape, no matter how bad things may seem. If you are currently in a bad situation, then please know that you can get out. Reach out to the authorities or to a trusted friend or family member. Get the help you need to escape your bad situation. You deserve to live a life free from fear and violence. Don't let the Mafia win. Make a stand and take back your life. You can do it. What do you think of the story of Michael Franzese? Let me know in the comments below. Also, don't forget to subscribe if you haven't so you won't miss any interesting videos. That's all for today. See you next time.